These are fantastic exercises you can do at home, and you only need dumbbells. Hey guys, I'm Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I'm going to give you some great exercises for building big arms. And why is that cool? Well, because everybody wants big arms, right? I mean, every guy says, today is arm day. That's their favorite day. I don't know why. But anyway, most people, though, really screw up when they try to create or build big arms. And the reason is because of this one pose. That double bicep pose. Everybody thinks the bicep makes up the majority of your upper arm. And the upper arm means from the shoulder to the elbow, all right? So unfortunately, they don't realize that there's some muscles on the backside of your bicep, your triceps. And your triceps are roughly 60% of the muscle mass, this meat. 60% of the meat on your upper arm is your tricep. Only 40% is your bicep. But almost everybody at the gym focuses just on their biceps, and they neglect triceps. And in reality, when you're just wearing a shirt, okay, and you're not flexing, because you're never walking around going, hey, how's it going? Is the beach that way or is the beach that way? All right, so we're just walking around. All right, and I noticed this just a couple of months ago. I went to visit one of my young buddies. He's 30 years younger than me. He's in the Marines and he's jacked. And he just naturally has huge triceps. Well, just walking around with the guy, I'd be behind him following him, we'd be going someplace. And I mean, he looks massive. His arms looked huge because from behind, that's really all you can see are your triceps. And his triceps are just naturally big. They just stick out, okay? And even from the side or from front, his arm, that whole muscle mass, this volume, all right? Because your eyes can see in 3 dimensions. You know, on the camera here, it's gonna look flatter, more 2-dimensional. But you can see the mass better in person because your eyes are actually, you know, seeing super high definition. And so his arms look really big, just no pump, just hanging out, okay? Because his triceps are so big, and he was focusing on those even when he was young, okay? So anyway, you won't be surprised when I tell you that of the 5 exercises today, 3 of them are tricep exercises, and 3/5 is 60%. Basically the same percentage as the muscle mass percentage of the upper arm. All right, so let's talk about the 5 exercises today, and I'm gonna be doing several of them on this bench. You do not need a bench, okay? You can do all these on the floor or standing up, but I think it's better to do on a bench. It gives you a little more flexibility and range of motion. And guys, there are tons of fantastic arm exercises at the gym. I mean, look at all that equipment. And if you guys didn't know this already, each one of those pieces of equipment is $3,000–$4,000 each, all right? So these are fantastic exercises you can do at home, and you only need dumbbells. There's other exercises we can do that are really good that require bands, but today is a dumbbell only arm day. All right, 5 exercises, and the way I like to do them is I like to transition. I like to do one exercise tricep, the next exercise bicep, then go back to tricep and bicep. And the reason being is it gives each muscle group a little more time to rest in between sets. And when you do that, when you give a muscle a little more time to rest, it gets more oxygen, you know, it's getting fresh blood, all right? And that means the next time you hit that muscle group, you can hit it with more intensity. And the nice thing about it also is it's very time efficient. So while my triceps are resting after this first exercise, I'll be hitting my biceps. I won't just be sitting around, you know, looking at my watch, all right? I'll be getting something done. And so this is a technique I use at the gym all the time. So exercise number 1 is a 2-arm overhead tricep extension, all right? Sounds complicated, but it's not. You only need 1 dumbbell, all right? So guys, especially when you're doing heavier weight. I'm using really, really light dumbbells right now just for demonstration purposes. But when you're using heavier weights and when you're really fatigued at the end of a set, I'm going to show you the trick to getting the dumbbell down so that you don't drop it on the floor or hurt your back, all right? And getting it down is just the reverse of getting it up. So put it on your thigh, okay? And you're gonna kick up with your two hands, and it's gonna go to your shoulder. Now, it's easy when you're doing a really light dumbbell, but when you start using heavier stuff, this is gonna become more important. Then you grab the flange with your two hands like this, all right? And you're just gonna press up and over your head, okay? And then we're gonna lower it, and I want you to get as much range of motion. I want you to let that dumbbell get as low as you can. So your arms, your elbows are bent as far as possible, and then you're gonna push straight up. All right, down, full range of motion, and then up. All right, now I'm using a really light weight here, so I'm not gonna get super fatigued, but let's say I was at the gym and I was just killing it, all right? And the lactic acid is building up, I'm using a heavy weight, and I mean, I'm just barely able to get this last one. Now what do? Do you just drop the dumbbell? Does it go straight to the floor? No. You go right there. So super easy. You don't go to your knee, you go to your shoulder. So as soon as you go here, all the weight is off your triceps. Now you're just using your arms basically to balance, all right? Then you grab the handle with the two hands and you bring your knee up, goes from your knee down to here and down to the ground. Like I said, that's a lightweight. It's no big deal. I didn't need to do this, but when you guys start pushing yourself harder and are getting stronger, and maybe you're on your third or fourth set and your triceps are just burning and you got a huge pump going, it's much harder. And that little trick about getting it up and getting it down by going to your shoulder and to your knee to the ground, I promise you'll really appreciate it. All right, so that first exercise out of the way, triceps. Your triceps should be burning. I recommend you do about 3 sets, okay? And now we're gonna hit our biceps. While we're doing our biceps, of course, those triceps will have a few minutes to recover so that we can hit them really hard again for the third exercise. All right, this is gonna be a curl, but we're gonna do a triple twist, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's gonna be 2 arms simultaneously, and because we're doing it with a triple twist, you can't use as much weight because form is really important, all right? So pick a weight that's fairly light that you can do with good form, and this is how I want you to do it. I want you to start with your palms facing forward, okay? We're gonna curl up nice and controlled and triple twist. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, and down. Rotate at the bottom so my palms are facing forward again. Curl up. 1, 2 twist, 3 twist, down. Rotate, up. 1, 2, 3, down. 1, 2, 3, down. All right, guys, I promise you're not gonna be able to do much weight with this curl exercise. And the reason is we got a lot of time under tension because when we're at the top of the movement, your bicep is fully contracted and we're turning our wrist, we're rotating our hands several times. Well, your bicep is under full contraction even while we're rotating our wrist. And the other thing is, when we're rotating our wrist back and forth like this, you're activating even more bicep fibers. That's why this is such a great exercise. I promise you're gonna be burning at the end of 3 sets of 10 reps on that exercise. Exercise number 3, we're going back to our triceps. They should be nice and rested now because we just did 3 sets of those curls with a triple twist. All right, this guys is kind of like a bench press movement. It's a close grip dumbbell press, but because of the way that we're holding the dumbbells, we're gonna be putting way more emphasis on our triceps than on our chest. Now, yes, your pecs and to a lesser extent, your front deltoids are gonna get involved in this movement, but it's still primarily a tricep exercise. So you'll be able to do, you know, more weight with this exercise than the first tricep exercise. So you're gonna have to experiment, but be sure and push yourself, guys. And we're just gonna do a basic chest press, but instead of having the dumbbells out here, I want you to keep them together. Actually have them touching, all right? And we're just gonna come down, and you're gonna bring them basically to your abdomen. Don't bring them way up here to your upper chest, okay? You're gonna wanna come straight down to your stomach and press straight up. And at the top of the movement, really try to lock your elbows out. And when you do that, you can flex. You can feel your triceps flexing. Go all the way down till you just barely touch your chest and your stomach with the dumbbells, and then slow up. So it's slow and controlled down and slow and controlled up with a squeeze of the triceps at the top. And it's this slow controlled movement that you're gonna really feel. So if you guys are bouncing it up and down like this, you still will work your triceps, but you won't feel it as much because you won't have that time under tension. So really try to feel your triceps contracting and your elbows straightening. And that way you'll get much more burn and much bigger pump in your triceps. All right, let's give those triceps a little rest and move back to our biceps. And this fourth exercise is called an incline hammer curl. So when we talk about hammer curls, guys, we're talking about holding our hands in a neutral position. And basically your palms of your hand will be facing towards your body. Okay, you can do this standing up, but these are inclined, so you need to be laying back a little bit. So I'm gonna be holding the dumbbells like this, all right? And if I was standing up doing it, we're sitting like this, all right, doing hammer curls, you see where my arm is relative to my torso? But because we do it on an incline and I lay back, see how my arms move back behind my torso? So my bicep already has a stretch. It's really stretched out a lot at the bottom of the motion right here. So yes, my biceps are stretched here also. But when you lean back, you really feel a much bigger stretch. So we're basically gonna get more range of motion. And this is just a good way to mix things up as far as doing your bicep work. Same thing goes with triceps, okay? So I have you do several different tricep exercises, and you're gonna notice that your elbow is in a different orientation relative to your torso in each of the three exercises. So this is another bicep exercise that you can't do a whole lot of weight on, okay? So form is always more important than the amount of weight you're doing, all right? So I'm on the incline, I'm laying back now, okay? And we're just gonna do simultaneous two-arm hammer curls. And the key, guys, is kind of notice the tempo, the amount of time it takes me to do each rep. I'm really controlling it up and down. This is one of the easiest exercises to cheat on because it's really easy to get momentum at the bottom here and kind of swing it up like this. All right, way too much momentum. So I'm going to pull the dumbbells up by contracting the biceps, and then I'm going to lower the weight until they get to the bottom with no extra swinging at the bottom, okay? So nice slow contraction up, control it. You can even pause for a split second at the top of this movement. Whew. And guys, you're gonna really start to feel an incredible burn. And don't be surprised or depressed if you can only do 5 or 10 pounds on this exercise. That's perfectly normal, Okay, so now to our fifth and final exercise, all right? We're going back to our triceps. This is our third tricep exercise today. Now, these are called skull crushers, guys, and there's two ways to do them. I'm gonna show you both ways, and I'm gonna let you pick which way you prefer. The technique is the same, but sometimes it's hard to do two-arm skull crushers just as far as balance is concerned. So let's just go through it, and we'll just kind of talk about the pros and cons. So, two-arm skull crushers, all right? Once again, you can't do a lot of weight here, guys. All right, so we're just gonna bring the dumbbells down. I like to have the flanges basically just barely touch my shoulder, just to the side of my ear, and then back up. Now, when I go up to the top of the movement, I don't want to bring the dumbbells all the way here. Now, see right here, the dumbbells are directly above my shoulders. So basically, my bones and joints are carrying all the weight of the dumbbell. If I stop here at the top, okay, then I still have some tension on my triceps. So I go down, full range of motion, slowly back up, and try to squeeze. You can like flex your triceps at the top of this movement, but don't go to here, stop here, okay? Because the weights are gonna wanna fall back over your head, so you're having to resist that gravitational force. So down and back up, simultaneous, two-arm skull crushers. All right, now, some guys might have a problem trying to keep your elbows stationary, all right, when you're doing that movement. So try this instead. Put one of the dumbbells down, and let's just focus on one arm at a time. That's totally fine. It just takes twice as long, all right? So a one-arm skull crusher. Remember, I'm not starting here. I'm starting here, and I take my offside hand, and I just kind of put it on my elbow here. And all that does is help me focus on keeping my elbow nice and still. All right? Some guys, you know, when you're doing two hands, you're kind of moving your elbows around a little bit. This way, it's just easier to stabilize. And when you can keep your elbow nice and still, it just leads to better form. I'm really, ooh, golly, I'm really getting a burn there, guys. So we go to the other side. And then down. All right. Big arms is more than just big biceps. Hopefully I got that across in today's video. So 5 really great exercises. All of them are totally legit. You don't need anything except some dumbbells. You can do them at home. And guys, you literally can get huge arms from home with nothing but dumbbells. You don't need a bunch of expensive machines at the gym, but you need to spend more time on your triceps than your biceps. And remember, you got to stick with it and never give up on yourself.